And it's the big news this afternoon. Pitso Mosimane has officially been approved as the new head coach of the South African senior men's national team, Bafana Bafana. The South African Football Association National Executive Committee ratified his appointment on the 8th of August 2026, following the end of Hugo Broos's contract term. Affectionately nicknamed Jingles, Mosimane is one of the most decorated and celebrated football managers in African history. He also became the first South African coach to graduate with the CAF Pro license back in the year 2022. He is tasked with leading South Africa into the upcoming 2027 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. And to talk about this appointment, we are now joined by Coach Farouk Khan. A very good evening to you, Coach. Let's start things off. It's an announcement that really was imminent because he truly was a front runner. And now in terms of Pitso Mosimane being confirmed, he gets a second bite at the cherry after his 2010 stint. What can we expect from Mosimane this time around?
Well, firstly, I want to congratulate Mosimane for his appointment. And I think, I must start off by saying that after Bruce decided not to renew his contract, I was of the opinion that we needed a coach with similar credentials, somebody with huge experience, both on the continent as well as internationally. But when Pitso's name was thrown into that, I felt he deserves serious consideration. I mean, as you rightly pointed out, his credentials speak for itself. He's a coach that has done extremely well at club level, or the CAF club level, the Champions League, and as well as the World Club Champions. And I think we shouldn't judge Pitso too much on what happened in 2012. I mean, he's gained so much valuable experience, and he's coached some of the best players and clubs, both Mamelodi Sundowns as well as Al Ahly. So yes, I think it's something that we as South Africans need to embrace and support Coach Pitso Mosimane in ensuring that he builds on the success that Hugo Broos did. The foundation that Hugo Broos has laid has been a solid one, and Pitso Mosimane obviously has the task now to ensure that he builds on that important foundation.
And of course, Coach, when we look at his appointment, it really is well-timed, especially when you consider the fact that Pitso has become so decorated in the past decade and also so well-traveled. What does this new experience and this added experience that Mosimane has, what will it add now to Bafana Bafana? And in terms of looking forward to not only qualifying for the AFCON, but potentially winning it, and of course, looking ahead to 2030?
Well, Pitso Mosimane is a great man manager. I think in the past we've seen what he's done at Mamelodi Sundowns as well as Al Ahly. You don't win a Champions League by accident. And, he's proven beyond a doubt that if you look at a local coach, he's arguably the best local coach we have. And therefore, I think he's going to add a lot of value. He understands the football culture. I don't think he needs to change too much of what Hugo Broos has done. I think he needs to build on that success that we've seen Hugo Broos winning, or should I say getting a bronze medal at AFCON, going on to qualify us for the World Cup, and then the first coach to take us to knockout stages. So I would like to see Coach Pitso Mosimane, going a step further and taking us much further in both competitions, both the CAF and the World Cup competitions.
I mean, you rightfully put it in terms of what Coach Hugo Broos was able to do for Bafana in terms of those accolades that you've now mentioned. So what then becomes the top of his agenda? This is Mosimane as he resumes this new task.
The first thing is for him to qualify for CAF. I think that is very, very important. And I think he has to take each competition on its merit and take each game as it comes. But I think he has the quality in depth to do so. I think if you look at some of the younger players that we've seen at the World Cup, Rele, Ocon, Mukazi, Maseko, Makanya, and Damani, Kabini. I mean, there's just such a fantastic list of excellent young players that are coming to the fore. And hopefully some of the experienced campaigners will still be able to add value, the Mokwenas and some of the other players that have done so well and made South Africans proud at the World Cup. When everything seemed doom and gloom, they rose to the occasion. Very unfortunate not to have beaten Canada and gone further. So I think, yeah, Coach Pitso Mosimane has definitely got a very strong squad. And I think with his expertise and the people that he brings around him, his technical team, I think we're going to see a very attractive, successful Bafana Bafana moving forward.
And you know, there have been times when the calls for a local coach have really been quite loud in terms of how they understand the South African landscape better than a coach that isn't South African. From a coaching perspective, does that add to the burden of the job, or is it a strategic key?
Well, I don't think it's so much about local and foreign when it comes to a national team. I think it's more about the competence, the experience, and the track record, and the best man for the job. And I think that is firstly something we must be mindful of. Sometimes we look at let's get a local coach, and when things don't go well, we then come hard down on the local coach and we say, no, we need a foreign coach. I think it's more about the coach's pedigree. And in this case, I think as SAFA has decided to go with Pitso Mosimane, he's the best local coach for the job. I think it's something that must be embraced. And I think it's something that hopefully will take us to the next level.
And just in terms of Coach Pitso Mosimane, we know he doesn't overstay his welcome. Do you see him going all the way to 2030 in terms of the FIFA World Cup in Spain, Portugal, you know, and of course Morocco? Or does he maybe just steady the ship so that the next head coach comes through and takes it a bit further?
I think Coach Pitso Mosimane has shown he's a winner. He's not somebody that will quit on this task. I think it's a project for him. And I think he's going to take us all the way to the 2030 World Cup. I don't think it's a short-term decision, because if it is, I think that will be a huge, huge error. You don't want to change coaches, you know, midway through the qualifiers. You want to have stability. You want a coach who has got the backing of both SAFA and, you know, the players. As I said earlier, Coach Pitso Mosimane is a player coach. And we don't want a situation where we swap coaches midway through this competition. It would be disastrous to see that happening.
And just quickly, before I let you go, Coach Khan, just in terms of Mosimane, who then does he work with? You know, ideally, he would have brought in the likes of Manqoba Mngqithi. They did very well together at Sundowns, you know, the likes of Windle in terms of the goalkeeping department. But there's also a coach, Helman Mkhalele, that is still there. So just in terms of that technical team, ideally, who should he be partnering with?
Well, ideally, he should be given the decision on who he wants, because you have to work with people that you feel can add value. It doesn't mean that Coach Helman is not a good coach and he's done so well with Coach Hugo Broos, but I think it's up to Coach Pitso Mosimane who he wants in the technical team, because ultimately, you know, everything hinges on whether he succeeds or fails, and you can't give somebody a technical team and expect him to produce results if it isn't of his choice. So I think that is a starting point for SAFA. Give Coach Pitso Mosimane all the support he needs. Give him the technical team, give him the backing, ensure that everything runs smoothly, you know, and then you can expect and you can demand, you know, a success from a coach. So yes, I think give him the support, both as far as choosing his technical team and making important decisions.
Coach, always love hearing your insights. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Coach Farouk Khan, of course, talking about the recent appointment of Coach Pitso Mosimane. He is now the brand new coach of Bafana Bafana, taking over from Coach Hugo Broos. And this, of course, in time for the AFCON qualifiers, which start next month in September.